Badminton Europe update series. I'm Alan Raftery, Communication Officer. The series is taking a look at our managers and having an interview with them so they can explain about the work that they're doing, the work that we're doing. And today, joining me is Communication Manager at Badminton Europe, Rasmus Beck, an individual I work with very closely within the communication team, so know very well. And the first question will be quite a tricky one because we're reviewing 2020, a year that has been a challenging one, but an interesting one and a memorable one. So the first question is, can you put words to how this year has been so far?
First of all, thank you for having me, Alan. And secondly, I think it's very hard to describe the year, actually. It's been a different year. I often hear that 2020, because of COVID-19, should be a year that we should forget. I have the complete opposite opinion on that. I think it's a year we should remember. I think it's a year where we learned a lot of things. It's a year where all of us, not only at our work, but also in our family life, in our social life, in everything, we needed to learn how to adapt. We couldn't just follow a plan in 2020, and that was also the case for us in the communication department of Badminton Europe. Every year in the early winter, the last month of the year before, I start to work on the plan for the upcoming year. The other day I looked back at the plan I actually made, the first draft for 2020, and it has been nothing like what we actually had. That being said, I think it has been a very interesting year. It's been a year where most communication staff, not only in Badminton Europe, but also in our member associations, also in other sports and politics everywhere, needed to redefine the way they work, the way they communicate, and also how to be creative. We have been working with a lot of different things the last, let's say, 10 months, more or less since the All England. From the day the All England finished until basically Christmas, also for the day where this is published, we have made other plans than was actually expected. But I would say all in all, it's been a year where I really found out that the team that I work with, and it's not because you're sitting next to me and our colleague Laura is behind the camera and Emilia, our intern, is sitting right next to her. It's not because you guys are in the room, but this has really shown me that when you have a team who's committed and when you have a team who is creative, actually you can solve a lot of issues. Because the easiest thing in the world would be to throw it all and say, okay, we don't know what we do, we have no ideas, we don't want to do this and that. This is sad and we can do nothing about it. That has not been the case for us. I see it's not been the case for the member associations either, and that makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, some very nice words there, so thank you very much. But I remember the moment when we went into lockdown. You've already mentioned it, but I myself was on site covering the All England Open, and then it all started happening, and you've already mentioned the adaptability needed, the creativity needed in those moments, but could you just mention some of the things that we've had to be flexible with and perhaps some of the things that stand out that's worked really well and some things that we can learn from?
One thing that has been a major change for sure was the cancellation for me and for the department of ours is for sure the cancellation or the postponement, I would rather say, of the European Championships in Kiev. Also the Badminton Europe Congress, BC Congress, which should have taken place in Bucharest in Romania. These two events, we were already on track on how to cover the things, how to promote the things. We had been working very closly already with the Ukrainian Federation and the Romanian Federation to execute two fantastic events. Of course, for me, working with our Deputy General Secretary, our General Secretary, regarding the communication around these things, of course, I also learned a lot, and that's been one of the key things. And and I'm sure that we will see some of these takeaways we have had in 2020 to be put into very good use in the future, because one thing is to be schooled in communication, crisis communication. One thing is actually to be involved in it. There's been a pandemic. It's hard to say if that's the biggest crisis that any of us will ever experience, but for now, in my 10, 12, 15 years in communication journalism, there's not been something like this. But it also showed me that when we are creative and when we actually have time to be creative, then we get great outcome. One of the things that I'm especially happy for was the Badminton at Home, which we launched in March, April, where a lot of people from the European, and not only the European but also worldwide badminton community actually contributed to sending the videos, the pictures, and I must say I was surprised to see how creative these guys were. My opinion is that we will never be publishing everything we receive from the fans, because we receive a lot of content, but I will admit that we published more and republished more content from the fans than I expected to, involving our fans to share their moments of lockdown has been one of the best efforts I have seen from Badminton Europe Communication this year. Also, I'm very happy with the exclusive series we made during COVID-19, where we actually had the chance to actually dig deeper into a life of an athlete. We had time to speak to the athletes who were also willing and had time actually to come back to us and give some great interviews, which can actually also be used now. Because of the way we handled that. So to mention these two things, that's for especially for our social media, but also for our website, and then finally also our 24/7 feature we included in our streaming platform badmintoneurope.tv is a feature that I'm very happy for, because that gives video content new life, and I know that fans, I can see that from the numbers we have, I can see that the fans like it. They like to see the old stars. They like to see these matches they have seen over and over and over again. You never get sick and tired of watching the legends or the future stars. So that's some of the things that I'm happy for. There's for sure more, but that's some of them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. During this time, I personally have felt that the closeness between us and the fans and the players and the fans has been at an all-time high. And like you've already touched on there, a lot of our content that we produce goes up on the badmintoneurope.tv. That has certainly grown during this time.
No doubt.
So can you comment on this brilliant site, what fans can expect in the future from this?
It all comes down to do we have tournaments or not. On a normal year we have a lot of live content, live streaming from the circuit, also from some of the World Tour tournaments, of course from our major events, the European Championships, and also from our team events, our youth events, our senior events. Of course in 2020 we didn't have much of that. I have been very positive and very pleased seeing that we had tournaments in the last part of 2020 on that streaming platform, because I see that there is a need for the fans to watch live badminton, and that's one thing I will promise them. If we have badminton live, we will have badminton live on the streaming platform. That's one thing for sure. We have a great cooperation with BWF, the World Federation, who is assisting us on getting also older content, archive content on the platform. We have been working quite a lot with that already, watching matches from the past, even back to the 80s, maybe even back to the 70s, and that's also some of the things I will promise them, that we will have that kind of content too our 24/7 channel, as I actually already mentioned, will be running. It's not only when the pandemic is on; it's also when it's hopefully soon off and everybody has a chance to go back to a relatively normal life. We will also be seeing more interviews, especially from the live tournaments, which we will be covering from Badminton Europe. That will be the circuit tournaments we have. That will be the major events that we have. And then we also work around exclusive content, being, for instance, our podcasts, which I'm very, very happy for, and also some new features that I know that we might talk about later in terms of launching on the projects. And also we will be seeing webinars. We will be seeing interviews like this series, where we actually also get more insight in the work of Badminton Europe, which I think could be quite useful, especially for the member associations or for whoever wants to know how do we work in Badminton Europe. So I will promise that when live badminton is on, we are on, and we are ready. We are ready to move from day to day. We have a great team, not only the in-house staff, we also have a great team taking care of the streamings, both the things setting up, but also to handle. So I'm very pleased with that, and we are ready to execute when badminton is back on, and also on all the exclusive material. We are already there, but that will for sure continue also to be developed.
I'm sure everyone can agree from that there's plenty of great content currently now and for sure to come in 2021. But with an increasing on-the-go lifestyle that people have, you can have Badminton Europe in your pocket in the Badminton Live app, which is a great feature. And there's been an update in the Badminton Live app. So just share a few words about that and what can fans expect?
We have an app already, or had an app already, Badminton Live, which was launched, I think it's 2 years ago now. Time flies fast, sometimes also during a pandemic, which has been updated. We have added new features to that app, also for it to work with the streaming platform. And I'm very pleased to say that I believe we have an app, that's my opinion, that gives the fans what they need. It's free of charge, can be used by anyone. It gives you live scores, gives you live stream. Of course, all the daily articles that we provide from Badminton Europe. So it's a way to stay up to date. And as you say, people are on the go. Not that much at the moment, but on normal circumstances, people are on the go. And I think that an app like ours is a way to stay up to date with the most important stuff. You get a lot of things in your social media feeds. You get a lot of news, you get a lot of notifications. This is your chance as a fan to be selective. Hopefully the fans knows what Badminton Europe stands for, and that will also be part of what they see in this app.
We of course work very closely with our many member associations, and actually in the past few weeks and months, you've been working quite hard on the communication MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding with our member associations. How has that been? How has that process been for you?
It's been very interesting. For me, it's very, very important that if we have just a tiny knowledge that our member association can use in communication, I want to give it all to them. We're here as a service for the member associations, and for me to see them develop and grow in communication, it makes me so happy. It's no secret that we have communication on very different levels in the European badminton associations, but the feedback I get, also we hosted a webinar session. I think it was 5 or 6 different webinars, also with the Q&A session. Is that communication is a priority in our member association, and with the memorandum of understanding, we will have a more formalized agreement on how to work with communication and what we commit to. Because it's important for me to say it's not only the member association who commits, it's also Badminton Europe who commits to support in whatever way we can. And I'm looking very much forward to this, because the best thing that could happen, in my opinion, is that badminton is growing in the member association as long as the communication also follows that route, and communication is important. That is we have seen that especially during the pandemic, saying that if you don't communicate around the things that you do, being a small MA, being a big MA, being Badminton Europe, BWF, whoever we're gonna mention, you don't get any feedback from anyone. If you don't communicate, you don't get anything, and you don't highlight what you have. You don't make aware of yourself. So communication is of course, I also have to say that because that's my area, but it is important. You don't get more people to play if you don't tell them what you do.
Absolutely. Now, last question. If you had a mystic ball here and you could see into 2021, what would you see on the horizon? We've got some exciting projects like the manager app, potentially a new badmintoneurope.com website. How do you see 2021?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? Because if we had done this interview 1 year ago, I wouldn't have said anything like 2020 what that had been. But a new manager app is in the pipeline. It will be a state-of-the-art badminton manager game. I really hope that the fans will welcome it and use it. We have big plans for a new Badminton Europe website, which I have very, very big expectations, and I believe that this will be a fantastic new platform, not only for us as communicators, but especially for the fans, also for the member associations, for whoever. If you like the fan stuff, it will be great. If you like development stuff, it will be great. If you use it as a working tool, as some of the member association does, it will be a great tool for you as well. Working with the different platforms that we already have, the website, of course, working with Badminton Live, our app, with our Facebook, with our Instagram, with everything. That's some of the things I'm looking very much forward to. I really, really hope that we will see badminton coming back live soon. We have seen great examples lately, having the European mixed team qualification taking place in 4 different venues. We have seen European juniors in Finland. We have seen circuit tournaments, different places in Europe, in Portugal, Bulgaria and Latvia. And what I have seen and what I've heard, I've seen no reason that badminton will not come back. And as I said before, when badminton is back, we are ready to bring it back to the fans, because to me, that's what it's all about. I am sure as I can be, because I'm not controlling anything regarding this pandemic, but I'm sure that we will see more live badminton in 2021 than we did in 2020. That's my big hope.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. It's been a very enjoyable interview, and I'm sure the viewers at home will have learnt a lot about communication and what's to come in 2021. We very much look forward to it, and make sure to follow us, visit our website, download the Badminton Live app if you haven't already, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much.
Thank you.